Hi everyone, Chef Archie Pie here. I'm making a soup today. Yep, welcome to my latest food video. I'm making leek and potato soup, but this one has a twist. It has a few extra ingredients in there to make it extra special. It's a soup that doubles up as a meal with a chunk of bread, or you can have it as a first course. So without any further ado, let's look at what I'm going to be needing. I'm going to be chopping some onions first of all. Probably need about 2 or 3 onions. Don't forget, all the measurements will be in the description below. I'm just fine dicing some onions. I'm using the heart of a celery, and I want to include all those leaves and all those beautiful young shoots from the very center of the celery. But the heart of the celery, I don't want to use the outside celery sticks. They are quite robust, quite fibrous. I don't want that to happen. I want my celery to be very tender in this soup, so I'm only using those very, very young sticks from the center of the celery itself. So we want to chop that in a reasonably small size. I don't think there's any need to split the sticks first before chopping them. And on with this one seedless green jalapeno chili. It's not going to make any difference because the quantity of soup we're making is quite large. This is just there as a contributory ingredient. Also, a couple of carrots. Carrots really are here for a little bit of colour. They're also there to add a little bit of sweetness to the mix. I also think that carrots give that wonderful texture as well as the potato in here as well. You've got the carrots that can be quite starchy, and obviously the potato is quite starchy too. So the carrots are a great addition to any leek and potato soup. And here's the main ingredient, the beautiful, fresh, and I understand these leeks are British grown leeks, and I like to cut them into quarters first before, once again, the dice of this leek resembles the same size as the carrots and the onions. You'll be needing a nice sharp knife for cutting these leeks. There's something rather satisfying about cutting a leek. I like the shape. It makes them nice and easy to make sure the dice remains reasonably same throughout. A few minutes of me chopping ingredients, I understand, is very popular in lots of the cooking videos nowadays. People like to see, I'm told by a lot of my subscribers, that people like to see vegetables being diced. So here's an example of the size I'm dicing the potato in, and this is a fine dice, like I said. And don't forget, all the ingredients and measurements and weights will be in the description box below. And if anyone's interested, I'm using a Wusthof German blade for this job. It's a very special piece of equipment, one of my favourite brands of knife to use. So that's pretty much all of the ingredients we're going to need now. Time to get the pot on. So there's the pot, in with a chunk of butter, and we're going to get that sizzling away. Now we're going to put a variety of herbs in, and that will include rosemary and bay leaves and parsley and chives and thyme. I'm going to throw in some garlic as well. Don't forget, all the measurements, teaspoons, etc. will be in the description below. A couple of bay leaves from the garden. Now I'm going to pop in all the wonderful chopped vegetables except for the potatoes, and I'll put those vegetables in first. Give them a good stir. Give them about 5 minutes on there first to bed in, and then I'm going to put a cup of water in. Once that water's in there, I'm going to give that a stir, cook it for a few minutes, and then add my potatoes. So once again, lots of stirring involved in making this soup. Give that a good stir around. There we are, about 5 or 6 minutes. Let's get the heat circulated throughout all our vegetables. And once it's starting to change colour and appearance, you can pop the lid on, and you can leave that on a very low heat for about half an hour. And once the half an hour's passed, it would have shrunk in volume, and you'll feel the vegetables will have softened beautifully. Now I'm going to add my quantity of chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock, you can use any stock you fancy. I would suggest chicken or vegetable. Now I'm going to add a full cup of dry white wine, and I'm going to bring all this to the boil. That little bit of stuff on the top is the butter. I'm going to use that soon to thicken the soup rather. What am I saying? Sauce. Right, it's had about 15 minutes. I'm going to give it a stir, and I'm going to pop the lid on for another 15 minutes. So far our soup's been cooking for about an hour, and we're going to give this all a good old stir. There we are, just to prove to you how soft all the vegetables are. They're all completely cooked now. So now I'm going to add my cream or my milk. I'm adding a very creamy milk. You can add cream if you prefer. Give that a stir, and when it's settled, you'll notice all the butter on the top. I'm going to take that butter off by sitting the ladle on the surface and just very gently skimming the butter off the top of my liquid surface. So do this very, very slowly and gently, and I promise you'll take virtually all the butter off. Once you've done that, add a quantity of flour to that butter you've took off the surface in a plastic bowl. Give it a good mix, good whisk with the whisker, of course. A whisk with the whisker, yeah. And then you want to, once you've whisked it into a paste, add it gradually into your stock. Add a little bit, in 2 lots I've added it. I don't like adding it all at once because I want to put it in gradually. That way I can mix it in and I won't have any lumps form. And then you'll see this beautiful soup bubbling away. It would have started to look like a soup. I'm adding some pepper and some salt now, giving it a damn good stir, and it's ready. It's absolutely fabulous. It's took us about an hour to an hour and a half to prepare, and I've made around about 3.5 litres or 3 to 4 quarts of soup. So there's quite a lot there. And as I said, all the ingredients are down below. So I'm just going to give it a taste, and I promise you it's absolutely wonderful. It's one of those soups that you can take a big chunk of bread with, and it makes a meal. It's a perfect meal. You can have a small quantity as an appetizer. But in this weather, it's winter in the UK at the moment, so this sort of soup is so welcome on our tables. And it's quite economical to make as well. You don't have to put the wine in. You can make it without wine. Doesn't have to have any alcohol. I wanted to make a deluxe version. I wanted to make a rather souped up version, excuse the pun. I'm just throwing a few croutons on there. And it's really ready. It's one of those soups that it's a timeless soup, and it belongs on any restaurant table, I promise you. Yes, you can blend it to puree it. If you prefer a soup that's smooth and purified, then by all means do that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed watching my video, please would you like, share, subscribe, and to find out about my next video, please press the notification bell. Hey everybody, if you want to leave a comment below, ask me a question. If you want to make a comment about anything that I do, any of the dishes I do, or even the cat videos or the cat clips that we make on here, that I make on here with my daughter, then please leave a comment. This is Chef Archie Pie, sending everyone lots of love, and do take care of yourselves. I'll see you all very, very soon.